people that know me, and folks around here don't know me as well as some others do, but folks that know me know I'm passionate about four things, more than four things, but I'm very passionate about four things. One is family, my kids, my grandkids, both my brother and sister. Family means everything to me. Number two is really good Mexican food, really good spicy Mexican food. I am very passionate about that. Number three is Ohio State football. I have a Buckeye back here, and there's a reason for that. I'm very passionate about that. Go Bucks Saturday. And then four is Cloudcroft, Ohio, or Cloudcroft, New Mexico, USA. And my love affair with Cloudcroft started in March of 1957. My dad was the ag teacher at the high school here, ag and shop teacher. And late March 57, we had a huge snow, a big late March snow, and there was no power in town, there were no phones, there was no roads getting plowed or anything. And that's when I decided to join the family. And my dad somehow arranged for a snowplow to go down the mountain and follow the snowplow down the mountain to Alamogordo. And when they got to the hospital down there, my mom was told that she was in false labor. So after all that, but the doctor, Dr. Borgenstern, who is a hero to many people in this area, told my mom, well, there ain't no going back up the mountain, so you're going to have this baby. So I was born the next day, and I have been in love with Cloudcroft ever since. As a kid, and we just lived up the road here. Our house backed up to Lincoln National Forest. And that's where we were raised as kids. You know, my brothers and I, the Lane boys and I, we lived in the woods. That's what we did. And so I have an experience doing that. You know, my parents were part of the world's greatest generation. There are very few of that generation that are left. That generation was instrumental in making Cloudcroft what it was and what it is. Wesley Lane, who some of you know, passed away this year. Charles Walker, whose memorial service is going to be at the high school Saturday. Charles Walker passed away 2 weeks shy of his 103rd birthday. You know, these are pioneers that built Cloudcroft, and we're losing that connection. The reason I bring up this background is because I think I can bring to bear some of that history. Some of the background of what Cloudcroft used to be. In fact, my campaign motto is honor the past, build the future together. So I hope to bring to bear some of what Cloudcroft was and will be. Since I've been here, well, first of all, I always knew that I'd move back to Cloudcroft. I just didn't know when in my life it was going to be. 2019, I moved back to Cloudcroft from Colorado Springs. Bought my cabin over there, and I was ready to spend the rest of my life here. 2020, this thing called COVID hit, and my parents back in Ohio got sick. My mom fell and broke ribs, so I went back to Ohio to take care of parents, what I thought would be a few months to a year. 4 years later, I came back to Cloudcroft. So I've been here a year, but I've kept in touch with everything that's going on. And I'm very passionate about this town. You guys know that. Since I've been here, I've been very active. I applied for a position on planning and zoning, was appointed to planning and zoning. I'm a lifetime member of New Mexico Rails to Trails. I'm a volunteer at the Cloudcroft Fire Department. I'm part of leadership at Cloudcroft. I am now, as of last Wednesday, I have the honor of serving as a trustee on Village Council. And Nick Hanna, because he was called up to active duty to serve his country. I approached him at that meeting and I said, Nick, your Air Force seat is going to continue to be an Air Force seat because I proudly served in the Air Force too. So we have an Air Force seat on the council. I've been very active. I've been to all of the village council meetings. I've been to planning and zoning. I've been to the 3+ hour budget meetings that were about as much fun as a root canal. I've been actively involved, and I know we've gone over what our priorities are and what our focuses are. First of all, village finances, and like Jeff said, village finances is up here. Everything else either flows up to it or drops down from it. Village finances is affected by everything that we do. And when I say village finances, is, you know, where are our sources of income going to come from, and how are we spending it? Are we spending it wisely? For the past 6 years, we haven't even accounted for how we've spent the money. We haven't even accounted for it. So we are making strides on getting our books in order. We are making strides in getting a budget turned in on time. There's a lot of progress that has been made, but there's so far to go. So, you know, village finance is up there, but my 4 things that I want to focus on as a trustee are transparency and communication. Those are one and the same. You know, they go hand in hand. I think there's been a lack of communication from government to the public. Putting our meetings on Facebook was a great start. Now we're on Teams. Not everybody can do that, so we need to think about that. You know, how we communicate. Deborah Lee, right? Or Debbie brought up a point. You know, we have an officer that was hired and then immediately fired. We have a long-term officer who was put on paid administrative leave and then resigned. Nobody in the public knows how or why that happened. And then listening to her, some of that can't be known. I understand that. But there needs to be some communication of, look, you know, this didn't work out for, you know, fired for cause or whatever. And I'm learning. You know, I'm new and I'm learning. But I think there needs to be more communication to the public as to what decisions we make, why we make that. Number 2, employee retention, or employee hiring and retention. We've discussed this ad nauseum. But, you know, how do we hire quality employees? How do we keep quality employees? I think this is a huge thing for this town. We're learning that. We're working on employment handbook. We're working on a compensation thing. So these are things that are in progress, but I want to keep working on them. Number 3, real quick. I know I'm 5 minutes is up. Well, I call this the Texas two-step. Texans are not the only tourists that come here, but they are the majority of Texans, of tourists that come here. So a two-step is, how do we effectively market Cloudcroft to tourists who want to come here, bring their families, and mostly bring their money, sometimes their ATVs, which I don't like always, but how do we market effectively and bring those folks here? And then how do we control them when they're here? How do we take care of the traffic problems? How do we take care of the parking problems? How do we take care of the speeding problems? You know, those all need to be dealt with so that the locals are not felt like they're second place. Us locals don't feel like we're second place to the tourists. And then last is blight. Having grown up here, moved away, and then come back, I drive through this town and I see things that people that have lived here all their lives or people that live here don't probably recognize. You know, there's so much blight in this town. There are cabins that are falling down. There are vacant lots. There are abandoned vehicles. There are so many. You come into town from Mayhill, first thing you see is the fire station with doors that are peeling and have been peeling. I mean, you know, I'm not picking on anybody, but those are the types of things that I see that I want to address. So we don't have a code enforcement officer. I'm on planning and zoning, but we need to, I think, clean up this village in a lot of different ways, especially the blighted areas. So that's it. I'm done. Oh, I do want to say this. I'm a former marathon runner. I've done 23 marathons. I don't do any more because of knees. But my goal is to have this as a marathon for me. This isn't a sprint. We're not going to fix these problems today or tomorrow or November or December. We're going to fix these problems over years and years. It is a marathon. But if we don't drink water at mile 5, we're not going to make it there. So we got to do the things now that get us to the end, to the marathon. So that's it.
Thank you, Keith.